Well, this is awkward.
This is awkward. Did you plan this?
No, I thought, like, white T-shirt, sport coat was going to...
I guess great minds think alike.
Yes.
Are you still there?
Yes, we are.
Oh, good. All right. Glad to hear it.
This is Between Two Phones.
Well, welcome to episode 4 of our fair
Yes.
Between Two Phones. I think this is episode 4, season 2.
Yes, season 2 of the...
It says it's season 2. I'm pretty sure it's episode 4. Apparently, that's the episode where finally we matched, apparently.
Yes.
Although yours is a little bit finer hound's tooth than this is a little bit larger. This looks like I brought it straight out of a 1978 Spiegel catalog.
But I love the color profiles.
It's definitely something.
It's jumping out at you.
Yes.
It's emphasizing things.
It is hopefully accentuating.
Did you
best
know
areas of me.
that in general, women can see more colors than men?
I didn't know that.
Yes.
I did know that more men, I believe, are colorblind than women, percentage-wise.
I could believe that.
Do you know anyone who's colorblind?
I have met them.
It's not something that usually comes up probably in a lot of conversations.
So the only time
you're out to lunch is like, oh.
Because I started in this industry pulling cables, network cables. Oh. And in doing that, all the little cables were color-coded. So you had to know blue, orange, green, brown.
How many of our viewers can recite the 568B wiring diagram? White, orange, orange, white, green, blue, white, blue, blue, white, brown.
So do you remember?
I think so they couldn't
why
see that.
Run backwards, you vomit?
No, I never knew any acronyms about it.
Why run backwards, you vomit?
Okay.
White, red, blue, yellow, violet.
I didn't know that. No, I just memorized the colors. But I could see if you were colorblind, that may be a serious concern. So here we are, as usual, 2 or 3 minutes in. You're drinking coffee. And
you know, it's a good thing that Zoom has a feature that if somebody joins right now in this incoherent rambling of a conversation that we call a podcast,
they would love to know what we were talking about.
Yes, and they could hit catch me up.
Have you ever joined a meeting late and then they're like, the people in the meeting are like, oh, don't worry about it. Or you don't even know what, like, you don't even want to ask.
Yes. Yeah, and you just are like, nope, not.
Yeah.
I'm just going to try and get my context.
That happened to me the other day, actually. But
Which I'm surprised because you're rarely late.
They were early, I believe.
Oh.
And it could have been
Still
that
works.
I was being held over with another call. It occasionally happens, yeah. You get, especially I've noticed, it seems to be more socially acceptable if you've got back-to-back calls for people to show up 4 or 5 minutes late. And most of the time, the first 5 minutes of most Zoom calls are just shooting the breeze anyway. Hey, how's the weather up in Michigan?
Informational.
And so you could, if you have AI Companion enabled in that meeting, you could press the button for Catch Me Up, which I did. And I found out that they were actually talking about an upcoming event that we're doing. And so it listed out the attributes that they had spoke about during that little discussion.
Very, very cool.
I didn't have to stop them.
Nope.
I didn't have to say, hey,
see it on the side.
Give me the last recap of what you just said. So Catch Me Up's a pretty cool little feature. There's several things inside the meeting, like ask meeting questions.
Yes.
You have to have these things enabled on your account in order to see them. And then the host of the meeting has to enable them as well. These are options that are available. I noticed that you brought your phone to the set today.
I have.
Interesting.
My current phone.
Does it work on mobile as well?
It does.
AI and Catch Me Up?
It does. During a meeting on mobile, you can actually utilize those functions. Now, not all of our features, we're not a complete mobile parody. In fact, John, I think I want to challenge you to another mobile versus desktop race.
I really enjoyed my day. If you haven't seen that video, I did it years ago, really. Mm-hmm. It's been a while. And Zoom, I was always fascinated. In fact, one of the reasons that brought me to Zoom was how well we allow mobile working. And when I say mobile working, I don't mean bringing your laptop home with you. I think a lot of people think that that's the remote worker. That's not this remote worker. I want to be able to work wherever I have my phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I want as much feature parity as I can with my desktop so that I can do everything from my device. I used to run the big, giant iPhone, the Max version. It was too big. My wife still has it. That's a massive phone. And I've scaled down to the smaller one. If they made a mini, I would get it. But it's convenient for me.
John is fully admitting he doesn't need readers.
I hear what you're saying. And that is the case my wife uses as well. She says that she cannot see the phone.
Yes.
And I never really I mean if you scale the text up, typically you can do that on any size device for that matter. But the point being is that I really want the ability to see everything that I can do on my laptop be ported to my mobile device.
Sure.
That's a big deal for me. And when I look at things like AI Companion, those features are there. When I want to do all of my team chat is all there. These are direct messages. These are multi-user chat. These are all of our chat channels.
Clips.
These are. Isn't it great that you can do Zoom clips from your mobile device? And you can even capture your screen on your mobile device.
And you can flip between, which is always it's sort of a bit of a diametrically opposing force when I think about how much you love being on your mobile device, yet you are a huge proponent of horizontal recording.
Yeah, I think and the reason for that is our displays are largely horizontal.
As you see here, if you're watching this on a laptop, you're probably watching it in a horizontal format. However, a lot of media,
TikTok,
Reels, Shorts, all that's done in the vertical format, which it's an interesting duality. In fact, one thing that bothers me is when I see somebody in a short video format that I'm observing on mobile, right? So where they clearly originally recorded it on a horizontal format and didn't try and shrink or anything, so I don't get to see the whole screen.
Yeah, that's it's interesting because all of our TVs for years have been 16 by 9 that way, and now we're going to 16 by 9 vertically in a lot of cases. So there is an interesting duality, as you said, of where we are in society. But I do ask that, just like this video, that when I have others record videos for me, that they do it horizontally. And I think a lot of folks don't necessarily do that because naturally you want to hold your phone like a certain direction. But it's the nature of the beast. Most TVs now, and you can only think of probably one manufacturer that we partner with. You know exactly what device it is that is vertical and not horizontal.
That would be the Neat Frame.
Yeah. That's the only one that I know of.
This conversation has shown that Catch Me Up is just an absolutely necessary thing.
We have gone so many directions.
Yes.
Catch Me Up and meeting summary in this case, and in-meeting questions, could be very useful to anyone who was a silent observer in this meeting. But
was my name mentioned is probably encroaching on one of my favorite AI features.
That's what I was about to say is, were you voluntold to do something in a meeting like you just voluntold me to edit some video?
I do it all the time.
You do. There's a lot of really cool features. There's one more little AI feature, since we're in the same subject of summarizing things and catching up, that I want to mention because we were talking about Zoom clips. Because the other day this happened to me. Mm-hmm. Actually, it happens pretty frequently because I do Zoom clips all the live long day. I use Zoom clips
a lot.
So
do I.
Every time, so I play in a band, and every time we do a band rehearsal, I use Zoom clips.
Really?
Yes.
John, I think we should do a whole nother video, maybe even next month, just on Zoom clips.
We should. And the part that I was going to mention is how it summarizes your clip now.
Automatically.
It titles it and describes it.
And chapterizes.
So, I play in a country band, so all of our songs are about mama trains, prison,
Jesus.
and getting drunk. That's pretty much that's the vein of the country song. And so it summarized the lyrics as I was
So if you play
singing.
your music backwards, do you get your wife back, your truck back, your dog back, your job back?
That's how it works.
Okay.
Just like that. And on that note, let's go outside.
And now, Deep Thoughts with Eric and John.
You know, John, sometimes it's good just to remember, take a look and appreciate some of the things that we have in our world that are just nice. That they've been there for maybe a long time, and
They've stood the test of time.
they have.
They continue to be here, just like the statue there behind you.
Yes, it's beautiful.
It is.
Like Zoom meetings.
It has been the stalwart
Yes.
that has held Zoom at its core as a platform since day one.
And we talk about all these cool new things that we do, you know, all these awesome innovations we have, but let's not forget that the idea of bringing people together in the best way we can, that's what we started with. That's what delivering happiness means.
You know, the first time I met folks at Zoom was well into probably my first year. I was, you know, it was probably 12 months in before I met the first other
Zoomy?
Zoomy, yet it felt like I already knew who they were before I met them because of the way we interact all the time on Zoom with Zoom video. And it felt like when I actually shook their hand in person, it wasn't the first meeting with them.
So yeah, so
we get to show up to the Denver office a lot more this year, 2025.
we do.
There's a lot more events happening here in Denver, and we've been doing a lot more ourselves to get into more in-person type events as well. And hopefully you can join us for some of them and have a beer with us, because here's to you, our partners. We do appreciate it very much. You were telling me last time, before we got sidetracked by audio issues, my fault, battery problem, about Emily had called you or had told you your acronym of your
Emily,
your name, EAT.
Yeah, she used to have a different last name. Obviously, I shouldn't say obviously. Women don't always have to take a men's last name. Yeah,
Sometimes they do.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't. Yeah.
exactly. So she did take my last name.
Okay.
Which
So
made her
ET as well.
yes. Her middle name is Anne.
So she is EAT.
Yes. And she worked in an office where they put their initials on their lunch.
This is awesome.
And she literally, the next work day after we got married. And you know how it is? A lot of people are like, oh,
So she
this
never
is
has
my
a
new-
lunch. She never has a lunch to eat because people just see eat in the middle of the fridge and they're like, "Thank you."
So yeah, that was one of the fun things with
That's
the
pretty
acronym.
awesome.
So yes, the Eric acronym Truex.
Yeah, we finally got to the bottom of that one.
Yes,
So-
that's the funny one there.
I think that there's something to be said for all the acronyms that we have.
So many. And if we ever do an acronym show, perhaps a song.
A song.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know about that. That sounds-
Maybe a Christmas jingle?
No, you don't.
Think about
No,
the
you don't
red-nosed
do that.
reindeer. You know Z, C, C, Z, V, A, Q, F, N, W, F.
No, I don't think so. This is not a good idea.
You don't want me singing anyway.
You know, I spend my weekends playing music. I don't need to cross mingle that life into my my weekday routine as well.
But you already have.
I did. Yeah, we did do for those who attended the live music capital of the world, Austin, Texas, Last year we did an event. It was called the CX Accelerate event. We did it in
CX
Austin.
being customer experience.
Customer experience. And we had a number of people come in for that. Partners from really all over the U.S. came into Austin for that. And
Very talented, very, very intelligent people, and also multi-talented.
we had, so JP was there. If y'all know JP Botello.
Shout out to JP.
If you know Jordan Caulfield from Austin. And then we also had Tim Ashlock from D10.
And you guys were known as the, correct me if I'm wrong, the CX Pistols.
We were the CX Pistols. Yeah, you got to say it just right. With the CX Pistols, and we did a little number for the crowd
Live
at
a training event. So just know.
It was fun.
When you go.
It was at the JW Marriott downtown Austin.
When you get an invitation to a Zoom event and you're thinking, am I going to learn something? Yes. Am I going to also get to hear from smart people who are fun to listen to? Absolutely. You may also get an impromptu concert. You don't know.
We call it infotainment.
Infotainment.
Yeah,
We're not
gonna get
calling
people-
it that anymore because
you're gonna get
all cars now have an infotainment center, which is their media center.
Yeah, they do.
And so we're not copying the car industry with the term infotainment. That's crazy.
I mean, that's what we're doing, though. We're bringing people in and we're keeping it lighthearted and entertaining. Because otherwise, I've been to enough of these, particularly contact center events, where
And now we set the skill to 5.
yeah,
Because
They're
5
dry.
is greater than 4.
people's eyes will glaze over faster than a Krispy Kreme donut.
And don't get me wrong, customer experience is a riveting subject. It actually is. It is pretty exciting. It's very cool. From a technology point of view, the things we're doing in there are really cool. However, it gets detailed enough, and because that industry specifically, the minutia of detail is important, you gotta, yeah.
So we did a little number, the CX Pistols. I think somebody recorded it. If I find it, I'll put it right here. There you go.
Right there.
Yeah. Hope you enjoyed it. It was something like I channeled my inner Johnny Cash. I think it was to the tune of Folsom Prison, and
It was.
and it was like, I hear the channel coming, it's rolling round the bend, and I ain't seen good CCAS since I don't know when. I'm
There you
stuck in CCAS prison. That's right, the song was called CCAS Prison. So we just modified it, a little. It was interesting. Maybe we'll do a encore performance at one of these upcoming CX events. You'll just have to look on the page and see which ones that at a minimum John and JP have to show up to.
Yes, absolutely.
Because JP, a fine bass guitarist. Me, I just play in a cover band on the weekends. So
I listen to a lot of live music.
do you?
Yeah,
Have you seen my band yet? You need to come on out to a show.
I do, but every time
We just
I say I
over the
wanna come
weekend
to
we played
Austin-
in the town of Lukenbach, Texas.
Lukenbach.
Yeah, and
that
little honky
sound
tonk
like
down in
that?
Austin. And
Lukenbach. Is it looking back or Lukenbach? Lukenbach.
it's an old town.
An old German town.
Yeah, so we also played a place called Broken Spoke in South Austin.
Now that sounds like a Texas name.
That's a honky tonk there.
Yeah, that's they. You know how that was named? They were on their way to Lukenbach and blew a flat on the wagon. And they're like, they just stayed. They didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't fix it. They just. I guarantee, right now, today, there is a partial wagon somewhere just outside a Broken Spoke that they're like, that's how the town got started.
begin Lukenbach. The wagon's outside Lukenbach or Broken Spoke?
Well, Broken Spoke.
There's a wagon outside Luken.
Because they didn't want to look at the wagon. They were procrastinating, so they built the camp just away from it. So because if you're looking at it, they're gonna fix it.
They're about 2 hours apart geographically, so it would be a long wagon.
But back in that day, that was probably like a 5-day wagon ride.
At least.
I don't know. I don't know the wagon
And
to
you
car
had to
conversion rate.
ford 3 rivers to get there. So
If you have to fjord anything,
fjord.
So we've gone Lukenbach, Broken Spoke, fjording. If you just throw in some Farfignugans.
What else? What else are we capable of talking about on Beers with Engineers? I'll tell you this. What is the number one question that you get from the partner community? Do you have one that you can put your finger on and be like, this is what I get the most questions on?
Honestly, I get a ton of this, and it's a little frustrating to me because it's an easy one to answer. Do you support insert name, phone, headset,
Fill in the blank here.
device?
Do you support? Is this supported on? Do you integrate with blah?
I'm going to tell you. I'm going to give you a hint on exactly what I do when I get this question.
Life hack for you coming up.
Come right here.
Mark
So-
the tape.
So I scream a little bit inside. Inside. I don't do it externally. Inside, I scream a little bit. And then I go and I open a web browser. I don't need to sign in. And I type support.zoom.us, but also .com works. I hit enter, and I go to the search, and I just repeat what you asked me. And then I copy the link at the top, and I put it in the email with some other nice words. I usually use AI Companion to make it sound better because I'm not happy I'm doing this.
Change the tone to not sarcastic.
Yes. And then I hit send. That's all I do. And
So you go to a different spot than I do. That's interesting.
where do you go?
I always go to marketplace.zoom.us for all of my integration needs.
So now integration. So now it's
Maybe
you are
we're
absolutely correct.
Maybe we're talking about potato
So I
here.
looked
You're talking
at
about maybe some hardware, and I'm talking about okay. So yeah, that's a fair point. And you could do. There is actually another place that you can go that's even easier than what we both said. And it's old Dr. Google, because we are completely indexed on Google, and when you type in "does Zoom integrate with," bloop,
Boom.
whether it's a phone, whether it's a room system, whether it is a washing machine, whether it is your car, whether it is a phone,
Which it
I already
does
said
integrate with
Whether it
my
is a CRM.
Ford truck and my wife's new
Does
Bronco.
Does it integrate in the Ford truck as well as it does in a Tesla?
I think it's about the same. And that I can see my upcoming calendar events.
Oh, because you have CarPlay.
CarPlay.
CarPlay has the app on there. Yeah, Tesla has a native app in the.
That's really cool. But no, this is through CarPlay.
Yeah.
And I do really like that because one of the coolest things it does in that is it automatically joins without video. And it brings me into the meeting and I don't have to
Speaking of
touch
which, you ever
anything
been join a meeting and then somebody joins from their car and then they like stick their phone in the ashtray or the
Oh,
cup
you get a
holder?
straight up the nose shot? Or what's worse
It
is
is
they
funny.
keep looking at they're like, da-da-da-da, and they're looking down.
They're still watching it.
And I'm
you're
like, turn off the video or pull over. One of the two.
yeah, it's not a great look. Don't take video.
Don't be safe.
Don't take video in the car. Don't be the person that's
Don't zoom and drive.
even if you have the car mount as well, just turn off video. Don't worry about it. Don't worry
It's
about
not a good look.
it. No one is going to judge you for
I'm
turning off your
counting
video
nose
if you're
hairs,
driving.
and that's just not. Nobody wants that.
You're going to start sending out nose hair trimmers to people.
Yep. A little bit of tear goes in your eye. You know what I'm talking about.
And on that note, that sour note, let's end this Beers with Engineers. Cheers, amigo.
Cheers.